Thank you, Shepard. Well, killed at the border, and now the family of slain border agent Javier Vega speaking out. Not over what the government should do now, but what it absolutely, positively should not do now. Welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto, and just days after laying their loved one to rest, the family of Officer Vega is worried that the two illegals accused of gunning him down could escape American justice. The suspects reportedly deported numerous times before this shooting, and the family wants to make darn sure that doesn't happen again. Natalie Vega is Officer Vega's sister-in-law. She's on the phone now, joining us from Corpus Christi, Texas. Natalie, very good to have you. I feel bad under these circumstances, but you are concerned that they could be a flight risk, right?
Yes, we're afraid that they're going to be deported back to Mexico and not stand trial here in the States.
Now, if they do go to Mexico, the argument for bringing them back to Mexico is that they would stand trial down there at the very least. You're suspicious.
Yes, very suspicious that maybe if they are deported, that nothing's going to come of it and they're just going to be released, and a tragedy like this could happen to someone else's family.
Natalie, what do you think of the fact that they had been deported numerous times, reportedly, and I think in one of their cases more than half a dozen times? What did you make of that and learning of it now?
It's sickening that we can't keep them over there once they're deported, that our security's not where it should be. These men and women are being trained to do something, and they're not allowing the Border Patrol agents to do their jobs to their full extent.
Now, when your brother-in-law was alive, did he ever talk about the danger of the job, let alone doing the job, not even thinking about when you're off the clock, but still associated with your job?
Always. He was always worried about his family, the situation with the border crisis going on. He, was always apprehensive about every place, everywhere he went, just so he could keep his family safe and out of harm's way.
We had heard, Natalie, that he was growing increasingly concerned about how little we knew about the illegals who were entering this country, particularly their criminal past. Did he ever relay that to you or your family, that the types who were coming in weren't the types who were told coming in, just those seeking shelter or asylum in the United States?
No, he had never released any information like that. He was very strict with his job and tried to keep it away from the family as much as possible.
How are they holding up, Natalie?
They're doing as best they can with the given circumstances. His little brother, Jordy Vega, is actually here with me right now. My husband. And
when you look, and your family has looked at this, Natalie, and seen that it's very possible that the two assailants here go to Mexico on some sort of a, either an arrangement with Mexico, what are you going to do?
We're going to protest it in any way possible that we can. I mean, we have a strong community, a strong family. People are reaching out to us from all over the world. We're not going to, the Border Patrol is, making sure that they can have them stay here and serve their due punishment to the full extent.
Now, in the meantime, there's a fund that's been set up that we have the URL on the bottom of the screen to raise money for your brother-in-law's children. It's got an overwhelming response, just the sheer number of people who've been interested in doing something, anything, for him. Mm-hmm. Were you surprised by that outpouring?
We were. We had people, like I said, contacting from all over the world. I've had people from California, Florida contacting me by phone, emails, Facebook, just asking how they can help out, what they can do for the family, especially the boys. So a very nice friend of the family set up the GoFundMe account for him in honor of the boys to go towards their college education.
Man, we were just showing an earlier snap of the website. That was quite some time ago, but we wish you well, and we wish the family well through all of this. Natalie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, with violence at the border growing, so too the number of Americans who are now fuming. 7 out of 10 of them in a new poll say that illegals are a threat to our lifestyle and our beliefs. And ads like this put the blame largely on Democrats.
Americans go through security before they get on a plane, enter a government building, or attend a ball game. But folks who come here illegally, they just walk across the border. That's wrong. Thanks to the pro-amnesty policies of President Obama and Senator Shaheen, we have an immigration crisis on our hands. We respond with compassion, but it's time for us to secure the border once and for all, and tell people who try to come here illegally that we intend to enforce the law.
All right, to former Democratic pollster Pat Goodell on why Democrats should be nervous. This is beginning, you were the first to say this is beginning to resonate now.
Yes.
Explain.
It's beginning to flip. We're starting to see great concerns. This entire crisis that we've had with the children, with this terrible humanitarian crisis, has focused attention in America, of Americans suddenly on not the concept the president would like to have, or the Chamber of Commerce. I mean, they're arm in arm on this, of an overall amnesty, or excuse me, an overall immigration plan, but on the crisis at the border and the fact the border is not secure. And what we just heard from Ms. Vega and about her brother is the kind of thing that really bothers Americans. And what's happening is you're seeing not only this new poll that came out was stunning, this Reuters poll, where 70% of Americans are saying this is a threat to our culture, to too many. Also now, almost a majority saying too many people we should reduce the number of people coming in. A lot of people say keep it the same. It's a real flip. And in the CNN data that happened, in February, it was a 10-point margin of people, or more than that, 14-point margin of people saying we should worry about getting jobs for immigrants that are here over border security. That has flipped 19 points. Now, that is now, and that's why you're seeing ads like this. What had been an issue only in Republican primaries is starting to be a general election albatross. Excuse me, and I predict if the president goes ahead and gives amnesty to 5 million people, this thing will blow up on the Democrats.
I'm wondering, too, when the vice president was saying a couple of days ago that these kids are our responsibility, referring to the tens of thousands who've arrived here, that there are kids, I think to paraphrase. Imagine that's not going down well with these same folks who were polled.
No. What the problem is they're saying, you know, we can't have everyone. But here's the thing. It's who's also coming. The people who killed the border, Mr. Vega. The problem we saw this last week, just today, the announcement at JFK that one of the ISIS volunteers, the radical group, was arrested, detained at JFK. Sort of, this is, remember the group whose leader said, "I'll see you in New York."
Then, Pat, what would be the harm in Democrats saying...
Or the Ebola thing. Let me just start
that's another
fear. Another fear.
But what would be the harm then for Democrats to embrace tighter border security?
Well, mainly in the past, it has been simply a device to say on the border, you know, oh, we'll do border security and nothing happens. People are watching this on television. I've always believed that if we want, and I believe we should have overall immigration reform in this country, we need to. But you cannot get it until you've proven you can secure the border, and we're not. And Democrats keep mouthing that. But here's the real problem.
So you think, but my only point, Pat, is what would be the harm if they just said, yeah, we're for border enforcement as well? I don't see what constituency they lose.
No, but the problem is going to be they're going to get tested on whether or not that comes first.
I got you.
That's the break.
So it's a timing issue.
It's a timing, not oh, we're going to have all this, and a path says, no, prove you can secure the border.
But ironically, you're saying they're the ones behind the 8 ball on this, and Republicans who just a few months ago feared being in that position.
Exactly, because what's happening now is a fear that this is getting out of control.
All right. Thank you, my friend. You are a genius. I appreciate your insight. Pat Goodell.